Okay, so Heroes Reborn, the initial 2 hour episode, well, I guess it would have been episodes 1 and 2. The first time Heroes came around, that first season was really well done until the last episode. Had a great tagline: "Save the cheerleader, save the world." Now we've got save the future, save the world, and it built up really well and fell apart in the last couple episodes. Season 2 didn't realize what made season 1 so good. It was different. Writer strikes and things of that nature really did hurt this show. And then they did a season that was based upon villains. And then they tried to rebound. I want to say they had a 4th season. And it hit moments where it was good, but by that time I think people had been so turned off by it. So now here we are years later, and now they're trying to essentially do the show kind of again. If you didn't watch the previous series, for the most part, you're okay. They fill in enough necessary information so you know, oh, this guy is Noah Bennett. He worked for Prime Attack. It was a paper company that also kind of cataloged, studied, kidnapped, experimented on what they now call Evos, so mutants. They can't use mutants because they get sued by, well, they'd be sued by Fox, not by Marvel. And of course, they use Evos to do all of the standard. Here's your segregation things they had a sign that said, God hates Evos, which of course emblematic of the God hates fags signs, or God hates gays, depending on the area of the country you see that sign in. And they tried to do a Human Evo United Day. Of course, they used the rainbows. I'm glad they have more money in the budget, so most of the Evo effects look pretty decent. So, right off the bat, there's a massive explosion in Odessa that kills pretty much everyone at the summit, except for Noah. That happens on June 13th of a non-specific year. Then they go back 1 year. Then they go back a couple of months. Then they go back a couple of weeks. Then they go forward a year. So the first 20 minutes, they introduce a little over a dozen characters, kill 7 of them, go to 5 different locations, and I think 4 or 5 different time streams. So what you think you're watching might have been happening 7 weeks ago, could be sort of happening a year from now, or a year before, with everything centered around the 0 point, which is the explosion in Odessa. So right away, they're throwing out every single character and giving you just enough motivation to be like, oh, okay, these two are pretty much hunting down and killing all Evos because they believe Evos to be essentially evil, blame them for the death of their son. Okay. Noah has a different name now, so something must happen to his mind. Source really bring in one of the older characters, who's not around for very long. When it comes to the new powers, you have the guy who teleports stuff. Doesn't know where it goes. Well, he finds out towards the end. But he's your typical nerd in high school. And I was like, man, should have called him Peter and got it over with. Just call him Peter Parker. He's the nerd who kind of flirts the girl a little bit. She has a mad crush on him, finds out he can make disappear. To where, you find out later. You have an incident going on in Japan. Things is happening in the past relative to the explosion. There's a guy who's like, oh, I know who you are, Katana Girl. And she's like, you have no idea who I am. Why are you here? He's like, no. See, he mentions a video game and he has, I guess it would be a manga, with him. And it's, well, it appeared to be going the way that America did comics. So it might just be considered a graphic novel. And he said, no. In this room, you have this. I play this game. So, of course, she goes into the room, and there's this really non-conspicuous panel. Lifts it up, and there's a sword. When she takes the sword out, she jumps into a video game. Okay? So you've got girl who's magic, who's Evo power, is to jump into a video game and try to save her father. Okay? So you got the Noah Bennett story, you've got the Keto Teleport story, you've got essentially a guy who may or may not have had powers. They don't get into a lot of detail of what he actually did. Looks like he probably had super strength. Who was fighting crime. Who has a brother. And they kind of have the Evo Underground Railroad in that area. Okay. So you've got the Noah storyline. You've got the teleporting kid. Well, he teleports stuff when he touches it. You've got the Los Angeles vigilante Underground Railroad bit going on. You've got the couple that's trying to kill all the Evos. You've got Japanese gamer girl and Japanese gamer guy. There's a lot of simultaneous stories that they bounce back and forth of that are not happening in one continuous timeline. For first 2 episodes, I like the second one more than the first one. I felt like since the first one laid some of the groundwork, the second one was able to just kind of build and put characters in similar locations at similar times. So you guys should have like, oh, these 2 storylines kind of intersected for a moment. So then you go, okay, these 2 are happening simultaneously, which means those 2 stories are happening 1 year after the explosion. Okay. Okay, good. But since a lot of it has to do with the memory gaps, you know that there's going to be that moment where it's, okay, there's a memory gap because this is what happened. That's why we've got slight past, medium past, heavy past, and future happening all simultaneously. All in all, not a bad first 2 episodes. You know, they did a lot since it was brought to you by Cadillac of having Cadillac vehicles. And I will say, one of my favorite new powers, Penny for your thoughts. That's pretty intense.